Joe Musashi is a badass. He's taken down whole organizations to save his clan and his girlfriend. He even has a horse that can drop-kick his enemies. And now, about 3 decades later, he's back with Shinobi, Art of Vengeance. This game has Sega's classic Shinobi, Joe Musashi, up against the ENE Corps, which single-handedly overpowers the world and now has its sights on our hero's Oboro clan. This takeover is orchestrated by Lord Ruse, who wields the power of the Anku's Death Scythe and will eradicate anyone who stands in his way. So he threatens to take down Musashi's clan to ensure his victory. But Joe's not going to stand for that, so it's down to him and the player to take on hordes of other ninja, soldiers, robots, even mutant beasts to protect those he holds close. So does this ninja still have some tricks up his sleeve? Or is he still destined to fall into obscurity? Well, here's the short version. Whenever I'm with my mates and they're talking about what games they've been playing recently, this has been the only game I've been rambling and hyperfixating on since the day the demo came out. There I was thinking this was just going to be another average platformer. I was incorrect. The moment I started mowing down opposing ninjas... you know what? Let the footage of me playing the demo speak for itself. Bonk. Morning. I love how you can string a combo with the dodge once you've done the full combo from before. Whoop. And then you can string into another one, and he's dead. It's great, I love it. Oh, this has got to be some of the most satisfying combat I've felt in a game, like, all year. Morning! Morning! Right, how do I get to you? Oh, that was clutch. Why is this game so good? Miss me. I'm over here. You're gonna regret never being. Nope. I get to ride the dog? Oh my god, this game looks so good. Wait, there's an arcade mode? Which means I can do it all again? Yeah, you know what, let's do it. Bye. So, where to begin? 2 of my favourite composers are back in collaboration for this game's soundtrack. We have Yuzo Koshiro, who's done Streets of Rage and previous Shinobi titles, and T. Lopez. Or is it T. Lopes? Basically, he's covered Sonic Mania, Shredder's Revenge. This guy's portfolio is only going to get bigger, and next you'll probably tell me he's going to collaborate with Toby Fox to create the best game soundtrack in the world. The music may not be as memorable as both composers' previous works. You do still get some tracks that get the adrenaline going. I like the little transition you get when you're in the calm before the storm, where the track builds up as soon as you get into a fight. Three of my most notable tracks would have to be the Anku Rift, the boss fight, and the music that plays during a chase. It gives that same kind of energy you get from certain Streets of Rage tracks.
Farewell, Musashi. It's been a blast.
Oh, I get it, because those barrels are about to explode. You might notice that the graphics are the same art style as Streets of Rage 4. It's this sort of lovely hand-drawn animation. It's like I'm playing a game as well as looking at something you'd get off a well-made cartoon at the same time. You know, they put a lot of heart and soul into this art style when hand-drawn games move seamlessly. It kind of reminds me of when Disney had artists to help animate Aladdin on the Sega Mega Drive way back when. It's nice to see there are people who want to keep this sort of animation alive, especially in this day and age where companies try to push AI slop into the Nintendo eShop titles for God knows what reason. Seeing this art style is such a breath of fresh air. You can never go wrong with going back to the old 2D platforming roots, especially when you complement this with solid gameplay. Speaking of which, Shinobi Art of Vengeance takes the older Shinobi games and absolutely refines the gameplay. No more relying heavily on finite numbers of shuriken. Now you have so much more at your disposal. I can't remember the last time I played a game where the combat was so fluid, so smooth, so rich in ways to fight, and so immeasurably satisfying. When I quite literally kill it in a wave of enemies or even a boss fight, I find myself nearly chuckling like a bloodthirsty psychopath. I've lost count how many moments I get something crazy like this happen. The versatility of moves is astonishing. When you start off, you simply have bare basics, which is still enough to get through the first level with total finesse, but as you progress through the game, you'll come across a yokai shopkeeper who, at the price of Oboro clan medals you find as well as some money, he'll provide you with new moves to add to your arsenal and polish your fighting style even further. And these moves are a godsend. There's one move where after a drop kick, if you hold down the heavy attack in midair, you practically turn into a Beyblade, relentlessly dealing damage to anyone you land on. I find myself experimenting on the best way to dispatch a foe, not just because it's convenient, but because it's stylish. Believe you me, there's more to the combat than mere button mashing. As you continue unlocking new abilities, you'll learn that pressing the heavy attack after a certain point in a combo will execute different moves for almost any situation, some of which you can follow up with an even bigger combo. And that's not even half of it. You can find both passive and active amulets to power you or your skills up. You also have Ninpo, abilities you unlock throughout the game that require Ninpo cells to use, so you have to use them wisely. These Ninpo vary in terms of use, some of which help with all-out offense, or taking apart an opponent's shield. Basically, there's plenty of options that best suit your playstyle. Next you have ninjutsu arts. If you build enough rage, you can use these as a sort of last resort, especially the first one you get at the beginning. But I find I hardly use these as much, as I already have plenty of methods to get out of a tight spot, and arcade mode, which I'll get to soon, encourages you against using it for a higher rank. And the icing on the cake to finish off your move list is the execution. If you use moves like heavy attacks and shuriken, they can help build up a gauge below the enemy's hit points, where if it's full, a symbol appears above them. This allows you to execute all of the enemies on screen with that symbol in one fell swoop.
Oh, baby, a triple!
So, to sum things up, you can obliterate your enemies in a number of elegant, skillful, and especially sick ways. You can pummel them with a combo, you can use Ninpo, you can use ninjutsu art, you can finish them with the execution, you can swat weaker ones with a shuriken, you can smack them off a cliff, you can lure them into a booby trap, you can juggle them in the air, you can punch them, you can blow them up with a barrel, you can even take them out while riding a surfboard or even your pet dog.
What a lovely variety.
You can put these skills to the test by going up against elite squads, which you can usually spot 3 of these symbols in every level. This has you pitted against waves of enemies typically stronger than your average foes. It tests you in how well you use your weaponry and how well you prioritize whittling away their defenses while evading getting hit yourself. If you manage to wipe out all of the elite squads in a level, you're given various rewards. In addition to the elite squads, you can also find Anku Rifts. These are extra challenges that appear in different forms, either an intense obstacle course or more waves of enemies. Completing a rift grants you a piece of the Dark Katana, which upon completion gives you a new weapon for increased damage. It's a perfect incentive for those who have the patience to complete these rifts. They're far from easy, sometimes they require a bit of trial and error, but not excessively to the point where it becomes frustrating. You'll find Anku rifts, elite squads, as well as secret boxes and clan medals scattered across all of the levels, some of which you'll have to come back later as you find more gear to help you navigate certain areas, such as the hookshot and the glider. A lot of it is worth your time finding, because these secrets can be rewarding, especially if it's a power-up that gives you a needed boost, such as max kunai capacity or a health boost. Maybe a power-up that best accommodates how you play. The difficulty overall feels like the perfect level of challenging. You're not just effortlessly laying waste to anything that moves. Sometimes I might find myself in the most intense juggling act, figuring out the right time to strike. Takoyaki, anyone? You also get a share of kick-ass boss fights that can destroy you if you're not careful, but when you figure them out and finish them off with an execution, it is glorious. And if you've finished the game but you haven't had enough of it, you'll unlock Arcade Mode. This challenges you to completing each level as quickly and as efficiently as possible. You get a higher rank if you clear it, having executed the boss, without using ninjutsu art, and without taking a hit. I'm honestly amazed I've managed to clear about half of this on S rank, which was no easy feat, but it's definitely possible. You'll need to take full advantage of your knowledge of each enemy, your ninpo, your techniques, and even your amulets. Shinobi Art of Vengeance has been a slice and dice dopamine rush from beginning to end. I don't think I can sing enough praise for this game, especially with the gameplay. You'll fight as a one-man army against all sorts of enemies, using a vast array of techniques to avenge your clan in what I would argue is one of my favourite platform fighting games ever. The combat is unbelievably smooth and has that kind of flow to it. Just when you think you've dunked on enemies enough with a combo, you're able to follow up with more attacks in a multitude of ways. And because of how well I had difficulty putting this game down. So, to sum things up, in 3 words, this game is stylish, smooth, superb, S-tier game in my opinion. You get to take out the ENE core, look cool doing it, and you feel like a ninja. I can't recommend this game enough. And that's not all. The devs are currently working on DLC for this game, where Musashi will be facing off against a few classic Sega villains from the past, and I cannot wait to see what this has in store. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I love this game, and I doubt there could be another ninja platformer that could possibly top this. Right? Oh.